Well, folks, it's finally time to once again talk about Starfield. This time we're reviewing the Terran Armada DLC. Yes, I realize I am very late to the party. However, in this review, you will get my honest thoughts. I went into this DLC without any expectations and played through the content thoroughly. The one thing I did not do was record any of it to my PC. So you don't have to pay attention to the background video and can just let this play in the background while you're doing whatever you want, just listening. All that being said, let's hop into the review. Terran Armada launched on April 7th, 2026, alongside Bethesda's free update titled Free Lanes. It was priced at $10 or free if you already had the premium edition of the base game. It's Starfield's second major story DLC after Shattered Space. On paper, it sounds like exactly what Starfield fans have been begging for. A new militaristic faction, robot armies, boarding actions, upgraded ship combat, and a fresh endgame loot system. In practice, it's, well, okay at best. It starts out well, but ultimately becomes shallow, repetitive, and oddly reliant on the free content in an attempt to make it feel worthwhile. The premise of the DLC is that during the Colony War, a bunch of UC and Freestar soldiers vanished. Now they're back as the Terran Armada, a self-proclaimed true children of Earth commanding an endless swarm of advanced robots bent on forcibly conquering the settled systems. It's a classic sci-fi trope that gives more background lore, yet the delivery is kinda scatterbrained and all over the place. There's no cohesive story being told. The main questline is short and completely linear. You can complete it in 3 to 6 hours depending on how thorough you are. You meet a reprogrammed robot companion named Delta, which you have no choice but to use. Visit a new space station settlement called Anchor Point, and spend most of your time responding to incursions. The writing focuses too much on moments about the price of endless war, the characters feel underdeveloped, the twists are predictable, and the whole thing wraps up feeling more like a high-quality Creation Club quest than a premium expansion. If you loved Shattered Space, you'll probably feel shortchanged here. What I thought was going to be a shining moment was the cruise mode. In practice, though, it was not only annoying to use, I quickly realized that it was just another form of a loading screen, something I didn't think Starfield could make even worse. Yet they did. Going into cruise mode, once you figure it out, still takes forever to get to the destination. Even worse, you have no choice but to use this feature if you want to play through the Terran Armada story. Incursions spawn randomly across the galaxy, turning systems into temporary combat zones. Small ones are quick skirmishes. Major ones lock you out of grav jumps, forcing you into the new cruise mode to navigate within a system, hunt down the Armada fleet, and board their vessels. Boarding actions are repetitive, using zero-G firefights, bullet sponge robot swarms, and cracking open an end-of-dungeon box for loot. The new Terran weapons and gear have a tactical military aesthetic that can make your arsenal feel distinct from the base game's NASA punk vibe, and the new X-Tech resources let you roll for legendary mods or push your gear up to an exotic tier at crafting benches, which is where the end game is for level 50 plus players who want to fine-tune their loadouts without pure RNG hell. Here's the problem. You'll be doing these boarding actions a lot. The story requires you to clear about 9 major incursions, and the ships are all the same layout right down to loot placement. The repetition sets in hard after the first couple of missions. Some incursions are repeatable post-story, which adds to the repeatable loot farming, but they never evolve beyond fly-in, board, shoot robots, and repeat. It was fun the first couple of times, but by the third time, it's busy work dressed up as content. The free lanes portion of the update is a new intra-system travel that gives extra points of interest random space encounters, ship parts, and outpost decorations, which honestly carries the paid DLC rather than the Armada story itself. Terran Armada sometimes feels like it exists mainly to showcase those systems. That's great for the overall game, but terrible for anyone expecting a self-contained $10 story package. Performance-wise, I didn't run into any game-breaking bugs on PC, though some players on forums have complained about the occasional frame drops during large incursions. It's nothing that ruins the experience, but nothing that screams polished AAA expansion either. At $10, Terran Armada isn't a ripoff, but it's not a must-buy either. If you're still deeply invested in Starfield and craving more space combat and gear tinkering, then this is for you, especially since the Free Lanes update is free and slightly improves the core loop. If you bounced off the base game, or were hoping for another Shattered Space-style narrative, skip it. The story is too thin, the loop is too repetitive, and too much of the new experience is already available without spending a dime. The bottom line is, the free content is much better than the paid Terran Armada DLC. That said, I can't recommend anyone play this game if you're a gamer who cares about deep story narrative with intriguing characters. I'm also very much tired of the girl bosses. Through the entire story, you face one girl boss after another, and they all speak to you with disdain. Sorry, but this kind of stuff is not what gamers want. Dialogue choice? What's that? It doesn't matter what you choose. The results are all the same, just with the character speaking the same line in a different way. So once again, no choice or consequence. Typical Bethesda story writing. The reason it took me this long to make this video is because I got bored and I could only play through short chunks of the story at a time. Honestly, it wasn't even hard. My ship was never even damaged during the space fights, and the only thing I struggled with was the fact that the robots were just bullet sponges. If you find yourself asking why I'm being so negative about Starfield, I'll tell you why. I want Bethesda to do better. If we keep lying to ourselves and trying to stay in Bethesda's good graces, we will continue to get one mediocre game after another. Sadly, I truly believe that The Elder Scrolls 6 is already cooked. Will it sell good? Probably. Will it keep the player base like Skyrim did? I doubt it. Anyway, did you play Terran Armada? If so, what did you think of it? Let me know in the comments below. While you're at it, like, subscribe, and share. And as always, I'm just glad you stopped by. And I'll see you in the next one.